I just finished my TGC Tour rounds, and a lot of people asked me during the stream what my updated build is for the technician that I'm using. I've also had a lot of people ask me in the YouTube comments when an update was coming out for the build that I'm using. So today I want to use this video just to give you guys a little update on where my technician build is currently at and what I'm using on the TGC Tours to play my elite rounds with. And we'll start with the attributes because I've actually made some changes. I've actually taken a lot more power on this build. And because of that, I am taking a lot less contact. Mainly everything else is fairly the same from where it was when I released my initial tech build. So up from the 50s to 67, I've taken more power, which has added about 10 yards to my drives. Which does take down my contact, and it did take a little bit to just get used to the new contact zones, but overall I would say that the additional power, just that 10 yards, has made me score a lot better. Swing path and correction, that stays the same. I just max out swing path, just because correction, I'm already used to this correction, and I mean, getting more correction doesn't really do a whole lot for me, so that has stayed the same. Shaping, I've gone up to an 80 and put recovery a little bit lower, and there's a couple of reasons for that, which I will go over once we get into the actual shot types. But shaping, I took a little bit more power, a little bit more spin that I can do, a little bit more height I can get on them, a little bit more fade and draw I can get, which really comes in handy when playing at some of the higher difficulty courses that I'm going to be getting when I'm higher up on the TGC Tour list. Rhythm and transition has stayed fairly the same. I've taken a little less rhythm and taken a little bit more transition, and the reason why I did that is because when it comes to shorter around the green shots, I was noticing that I was underswinging and overswinging my partials a lot. So your splash shots, pick shots, chips, spinner is a big one that I was always underswinging. Pitch shots, all of the shots around the green, I was struggling a little bit with the transition on getting a little under or a little over. So I took a little bit more transition at the detriment of rhythm, but I add the rhythm back in fittings. So don't worry about that too much. But I did take a little bit more transition here so that I can get those partials a little bit better. It doesn't really help too much on like full swing partials, approach shots, choked approach, regular shots, tee shots, all of those. For me personally, I think the transition is pretty easy to hit with those, but on the short game, the transition did come into play, so I took a little bit more in my attributes. And currently I have my putt weight and putt contact. They're kind of low right now. I mean, I putt fine. Putt contact and putt path, like if you are pretty good at doing straight down, straight up, you don't really need much putt contact or putt path. Even missing something 2, 3, 4 degrees doesn't really change the outcome that much. It does, but it's so minuscule that putting points in there isn't really something that is needed. But the big thing is I'm going to add points in here. I'm trying to save VC right now because to finish this up, it's going to cost me almost 7,000 VC, which I just don't have right now. I have been putting more points into putt weight though. And just the reason behind this is because I've been playing a lot of TGC Tour stuff, and with TGC Tours, they don't have the feedback on, so just having the little additional putt weight does make it easier to hit that perfect power when you are on the putting surface. So more than likely to round this one out, I'm more than likely going to be adding in some more putt weight, and then I'll just put the rest into contact. Same with the rhythm and the putt path. I like to have my rhythm around 80. I have found, for whatever reason, 80 is a good number for me to get at. So with the fittings, if it's around 80, somewhere north, like 80 to 84 rhythm is what works well for me with my rhythm, for whatever reason that is. I'm going to get to that and then put the rest into putt path. And right now, I believe I am exactly at 80. So I'll probably just put in like 3 more and then just put the rest into putt path to round out the attributes for my golfer. And I like the 67 number mainly because when we get the update for gems for season 2 of this game, I think they're going to add 2, which is going to be an addition of 10 additional that we're going to be able to get, which gets me to a 77. So I'll be close to shooting about 300. And I thought that was a good number to be at. I think it's going to be like 296 or something, like 296, 297, something like that, which is great for the driver. Like, that is a monster drive for not a lot of power. So doing it this way, I'll just be able to get a straight increase as soon as Season 2 starts. Now, for the shot types, I actually have made some changes. I made some changes tonight, actually. And the reason I did this is because I've noticed some things in my golf game that I am struggling with as I've played with this new build for the last, I think it's been 5 days. So I actually went through and changed some of these things. Now, my tee skills have completely stayed the same. This is where I was when I first released the Technician build, and this is where I'm still at. Now, I still say if you don't have Power Drive unlocked, getting Stinger is not a bad option because it does almost exactly what the Power Drive does, and the only thing is the Power Drive gets more distance. But with the Power Drive, you can actually de-loft it quite a bit, and it works like a Stinger, but just gets more distance. If you don't have Power Drive unlocked, I still don't think Stinger is a bad option. I actually think it is a great shot type. It just became a little redundant for me once I unlocked Power Drive. Approach shot has changed a little bit. I did take off the deck. The reason I took off the deck off is because hitting an off the deck shot is extremely difficult. They made it so that it was even more difficult. It's about in line with the Power Drive, maybe even actually a little bit harder. And the distance that you get off of it just wasn't enough for me to be like, oh yeah, that's worth it. I'm going to be hitting that shot a lot. So I actually took off the deck. I kept everything else the same. So my approach shot's maxed out, choked approach is maxed out, and these are shots that I use a lot. Like choked approach shot gets under the wind a little bit better, has a little bit more control. I have actually used choked approach and choked tee shot quite a bit, especially if you've watched any of my content, you know that I have. I do like both of those shots, and I'm glad that I got talked into adding them back. Pitch shot stays the same. I got the runner just to get to the spinner, and I'm still taking only 3 for the spinner. I didn't take the rhythm just because I found that my rhythm isn't really that big of a deal. And if I do hit a little bit more, like let's say a 1% rhythm, like that's not a big distance change because the spinner doesn't go that far. So because of that, I didn't want to waste the 4 points, and I just kept it here. And I put the 4 points, I mean, maybe not in a place where people expect, and I would suggest if you don't put the 4 points in where I'm about to go to, then you could definitely just put them into the spinner. There's nothing wrong with that. But overall, the only thing that has changed in the approach shot is just getting off the deck. I still don't use knockdown. I just don't think that the knockdown has enough usability in order to warrant using all of these points for it. But that's where I'm at for the approach shots. So, recovery skills. Now, this has actually changed quite a bit. Before, I was saying just to get flop and super flop. I have actually worked in recovery shot. Now, this is why I took a little bit less recovery. If I'm really far out, it still hurts me having that low recovery sometimes. For the most part, though, I can recover. The recovery shot is actually very good out of the heavy rough with short irons. It makes your misses huge. It makes your perfect shot zones huge. And it's a very good way to get yourself back in for potentially a birdie or a par. It's a very good shot because it is extremely controlled. You can actually get a little bit more spin on a recovery shot than what you might have been able to using a regular approach shot. You get a better lie range out of it, and the misses are just not there. Like it's the zone is so huge that you can hit a pretty poor shot and still end up in a pretty good position. So this is something that I actually just changed this tonight. I had just the recovery shot. I didn't take any of the boosts. But I noticed that not taking any of the boosts put me sometimes in a position where I would miss, and it would miss like a short, not a short side, but like a really, I guess a short side, right side, like pin. And I would sometimes miss it and still go off into the fairway or the rough on the right side. Like it was there enough that I wasn't able to make precise shots, but the recovery shot, I have actually came around to it. Out of heavy rough, using a wedge, 9-iron, 8-iron, I think is what it goes up to, is an 8-iron. This is very good at doing exactly what it says, recovering out of the heavy rough. I suggest, especially if you're off the beaten path, something I am a lot because I like to power drive probably too much, this is a great shot to have in your possession so that you can potentially, hopefully, recover and get yourself a birdie or a par. I do like the recovery shot. It is one that I have added in from the last video. And then with the 4 points I had left over, I could have taken the rhythm for the spinner. I chose to just do a little bit for the punch shot. It is a shot that I don't use it often, hardly ever. But when I do use it, you know, having a little bit of a transition boost and a little bit of a rhythm boost does help to make sure that I can recover a little bit better than what I am currently. This may change again. I may end up just putting it into the spinner. I don't think I will, just because it's only 4 points, and I really don't think that the rhythm means a whole lot for the spinner. But this is where I put the 4 points that I had left over with this build, was just on the punch shot. Next up, we have the bunker skills, and they're exactly the same as last. These are all the same. I just get the blast shot. I tried using I just never use it. I never use the power pick. That might change if we get a little bit different bunkering, but for now, I just never use it. I always hit an approach shot or a partial approach shot, and I never had problems doing this. So because of that, I just took it off again. I had it there for a second on this build, but I just took it off again. This will be the same as the video that I released. I still just use 1 in pick. That is all you need. The pick shot, even if you miss it a bit, it's just quite accurate. It's the same with the super flop. The super flop is the same way. It is just accurate. That's just why I take all of them here in the super flop. So I still stayed at 1 pick, and I have not had a problem. Not one problem with keeping just the pick and not taking any of the boosts. So it's up to you if you're struggling with it. You can still take the boosts, but for me, it's just not something that I ran into. But if you have the points, if you don't have the other things, if you don't have recovery unlocked, if you don't have knockdown, if you don't have power drive, if you don't have green reader, like if you don't have all those things, I mean, you might as well put the points in. Like, just take them. It does make it easier. For me, though, like for like an end game build, I just haven't needed any more than that. And the green should be exactly the same too. This hasn't changed and probably will not change forever. I don't see it changing at any point in time. Chip stays the same, maxed out. I just take bump and run to get through it. And I take green reader and 2 boosts because green reader and 2 boosts get me back near to what 2K23 green grids were. Putt I have maxed out, of course, and I think the lag putt is just not that great of a skill and kind of a waste of points. So that's where I'm at for green skills. Nothing has changed there. And the clubhouse pass is still the same too. I mean, just get all of them if you have the clubhouse pass. If you don't, then you just get the spinner, and that still sucks. But anyways, I have all of the tie spinner for the clubhouse pass skills unlocked as well. So that is attributes and shot types. Let's do the actual golf bag. So in my golf bag, we still have max power, and that is not going to be changing anytime soon. I'll probably keep this on here forever, just because, well, maybe not forever, right? Maybe not forever, because I am going to be hitting 99 eventually. But when I get the 10 extra, if that's what we get, 2 gems that add 1 apiece, if we get another 10 boost, if I get this up to a 97 power, I'm pretty sure that's close to 300. And that might be where I stop. I might try to get it to 99 because why not? But just getting it to 97 power, I think, personally, is crazy on a technician build. But where it sits now on my driver, 87 power gets me 292, which has been wonderful out on the course. Taking the extra power has been wonderful. My 3-wood has also seen a boost in power just because of the additional attributes I've taken. I'm up to 79 power right now, which I believe is 7, maybe 6 yards more than what I had with the last build that I had. And then I took a little bit of contact just to make up for the change in contact that I took for my attributes. So we're up to 79 power, a little bit more contact to add to it. I got it up to an 83. That has been good for me. That's just me playing, testing. The 83 contact has been good, but that is just a number that you will have to find. What's good for you? 83, 77, 90, whatever it might be. This works for me though, and I've had a lot of great shots with my 3-wood, so I'm probably gonna keep it here. A little bit extra power, contact, a little bit of a boost. Swing path is still really good just because I don't care about correction, and that's where we're at for the 3-wood. On my irons, I am actually no longer maxing out the contact and the swing path. I just haven't really needed it. So I took a little additional power. I think I'm about 16 more than where I was in the last video, which adds a bit. I think it's 8 yards. 8 yards that I've added to almost all of my irons. All in, like, pitching wedge to 2-iron. It's about 8 yards, which allows me, it actually has allowed me to do a lot of things. It's allowed me to, instead of taking that 2-iron in, I can now take a 3-iron in, maybe get a little bit more loft on it, a little bit more spin on it. It's actually helped a lot, especially for getting into the TGC Tour stuff now, because a lot of the courses are extremely long. So because of that, having the slight additional power on my irons has helped quite a bit. Now, I still took a bunch of contact. I wanted to get myself back over 90 with my irons because I want to be as accurate as possible with my irons. So getting that back up to a 90 was good. Swing path, I haven't had too much of a problem with. Contact, I might end up taking a little bit more power eventually. For now, though, it has worked very well. So this is what I get with the fittings on my irons. Taking that additional power has helped a ton, and the Technician still allows me to get both contact and swing path over 90. Now, the wedges have actually changed quite a bit. Somebody suggested just to not have as much of a gap between my clubs to try out a 62 and a 56 instead of a 50 and a 60, and that's been great. 56 and a 62 is actually the way to go for me, at least. It puts me in a pretty good position between pitching wedge 56, 62. I'm not having to, partial as many of my wedge shots. It's getting me into a position where I'm hitting more full shots. And when I'm around the green, having the 62 degree has actually helped in producing a little less roll, especially in my chips. So this change has actually been phenomenal, getting the 56 and the 62. I have liked it very, very much. I still suggest to people, if you can't partial a pitching wedge, then you should probably still keep like a 50 degree or something. Take out a 2-iron, put another wedge in the bag just to give you a little bit better of that in between, because pitching wedge to 56 degree, there is a bit of a gap, and you do have to work around that with partial shots. Now, I said earlier that I took a little bit more rhythm here, and I did. So I took more rhythm, and I got my transition both to an 80. 80 has worked great in me hitting transition and rhythm for a lot of my short game. I don't really need more power on my wedges because I don't care about that additional power. Like a lot of the times you're using the wedge is really short. You got your spinner that you might use, or a flop shot or splash or whatever it might be. Taking additional power just isn't really that big of a deal. So I took the rhythm, I took the transition, and I took a little bit of contact on this as well to get it up over 80. The main reason why I'm okay with the contact being so low on the 80, when you close or open a wedge, it's not a huge, kick in the dick. It'll miss, but it's not missing like it could on a 2-iron. So having a little bit less contact wasn't really a big deal for me. And I have found, especially today playing my TGC Tour rounds, yeah, I was right in that assumption. Like, having a little bit less contact on the wedges isn't really that big of a deal. So I took a little contact, rhythm, transition both to an 80, and this has been great. My short game is better probably than it's ever been. It's been really good. And this bag, like the way I have it set up, 56, 62, the pitching wedge, it's working out very, very well. And we come to the putter, and the putter is, exactly the same. I have putt path at 50. I'm going to get my rhythm up to an 80. I'm going to say probably about an 82. 82 or 83 is where I'm going to get, so I'm probably going to be putting 10 points into rhythm to get it back up to an 82, 83. And then the rest is going to go into putt path. I'll take a little bit of putt weight. The rest is going to go into putt contact. This isn't going to change at all. I'm just going to take the 10 additional points, or 11, to get me where I want to be on my putter for putt rhythm. And then I'm putting the rest into putt path. However much that is what's going in there. Because, I mean, having the additional putt path and contact, it's not like it's a bad thing. Like, yeah, just take it. Your misses aren't as bad. I don't really have a big problem with it, but when I do miss, you know, it may lead to me missing putts. I don't really notice it too much. Putt rhythm, I notice it a lot, but just having a little extra isn't a bad thing. So for now, I'm probably just going to stick with this. I don't think I'm going to add any more to putt weight. The putt weight seems okay. Putt contact is... You could close it 7 degrees, and you could probably still make your putt. So I'm going to put some into putt contact, but a lot of it's going to go into putt weight. This probably won't change. My fittings on this probably won't change at all. And that's the bag overall, and the build. I mean, that's the build. I still have a couple of things to do with it once I get the VC. But where it sits now, this is my technician build. This is the build that I'm more than likely, I think, probably, this is the build I'm going to be using for the rest of the year for the TGC Tours. I'm going to play around with the other ones still. I was going to make a build guide for all of the different archetypes. I just don't like Greenskeeper and Powerhouse. It's good, and I have been working with it, and it has been good. It is just so much work, so much VC, so much playing the game to level up all the clubs, to get all the footings on them, to get all the attributes on there. Like, it's just, it's a lot. So I think the Powerhouse and Magician, I'm still going to have builds coming out with. I'm probably not even going to do one for Greenskeeper, if I'm being honest. I don't like Greenskeeper. I think that it just has way too many detriments to it by putting so many points into the putting skills. So I'm probably not going to do one on Greenskeeper. But the other two, I do plan on doing it. I wanted to get this out, though, because I have had a lot of people ask me about what build I'm using for TGC Tours. They've asked me in the comments as well on YouTube, a ton. So I want to get this out for everybody. That way, if somebody asks, I can be like, oh, yeah, you want to see my build? Here's a video for it. So hopefully you guys found some value in this. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on the video. Think about subscribing to the channel for more PGA 2K content. I have a new series coming out with Apex here soon. That's, oh man, playing with Apex has been a lot of fun. So I'm excited for you guys to see that. Check out my Impossible Challenge stuff too if you haven't yet. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are in the world. And I will catch you on the next one.